cheap one.
It's awesome. So you should do that real quick.
All right, go ahead.
I'd like to call the Wednesday, July 22nd, town board meeting to order. Jacob Billick, could you please lead us in the
Thank
pledge?
you, Mr. Supervisor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up tonight, we have a due process hearing for the debt.
You gotta do public hearing first because it's called for at 6 o'clock.
Okay, so we're gonna switch things up. Thank you, Paul. So we're gonna start with the public hearing. Glenwald Road and Old Glenwald Road, SBL 63-1-4 and 62-1-20.1 zone change.
Motion to open public hearings.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Town of Fallsburg notice of hearing, introductory local law zoning amendment pertaining to tax map number 63-1-4 and 62-1-20.1. Public notice is hereby given that there has been introduced before the town board of the town of Fallsburg, New York on July 1st, 2026, a local law entitled zoning map amendment pertaining to tax number 63-1-4 and 62-1-20.1. which local law would amend Article 3 of Chapter 310 of the Town Code zoning by altering the official zoning map to change the zoning designation of tax map number 63-1-4 and 62-1-20.1, located at Glenwald Road and Old Glenwald Road in Woodridge, New York, from agricultural to industrial. A complete copy of the introductory law, local law is available for inspection at the clerk's office. Now therefore, pursuant to section 20 of the municipal home rule law, the town board of the town of Fallsburg, New York will hold public hearing on the aforesaid local law on July 22nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter at the Town Hall, 19 Railroad Plaza, South Fallsburg, New York, 12779, at which time all persons interested therein shall be heard by Nathan Steingart and the supervisor and Paul Bergen, the town clerk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. To speak on the zone change?
All right, while they're thinking about it, since it was a zone change, it had to be sent to the county planning department for a general municipal law section 239 review. We did receive back a July 22nd letter from the planning department indicating no comments except for DPW. Recommendation is local determination, and the technical comments basically had to do with examining the industrial use for truck traffic, which will be done as part of the planning process. They will be required to take a look at whatever traffic impacts there are at the planning board if this zoning change is granted. And just so you to be clear on record, we're going to be inserting the planning department letter in one of the whereas provisions, the date of the letter, and this is a zone change designation for section 63, block 1, lot 4, and a portion of 62, block 1, lot 20.1, and that's according to a map that's being attached to the local law for clarity.
Is there anybody online who'd like to speak? No.
All right, so I know we talked about it last time. The planning board would handle egress on the property, or?
Yes, they would have to go through the technical requirements for the planning board and all technical requirements, including whatever necessary access there is for the traffic that the project generates, as well as access by emergency vehicles, access by their own snow clearing vehicles, and access for dumpsters and things of that nature.
Right, that's the planning board.
That's a planning board function, along with the general site plan, which would also include drainage plans and all of the features, setbacks, and requirements that are set forth in the
Right,
statute. and
that's
SDA.
planning board stuff.
Planning
But, living in Fallsburg stuff, we discussed last time about moving that main entrance, which was a good point to keep traffic off that road.
To move it to Glenwald Road, off of Old Glenwald Road.
Yes, to the left of the property, I
We
guess.
we do have the applicant here to answer any technical questions about the intended project itself.
That's what I'm asking.
So Jacob, come on up. So, you know, more on Arnold's point, so I'm very familiar with this project. I lived, 1,000 feet away for 25 plus years. I'm also, have a social relationship with the project and also the neighbors that are concerned because of, living there and us being in a small community. That area of the town is probably the most industrial area of the town, from the gas depot, the oil depot, the other project that's going across the street. So I'm very comfortable, I'm speaking for myself, with this zone change. The only concern I have is there are still some residential houses close to it, and I just want to try to make it as,
So Arnold, you want, there's currently an industrial use there, and they're coming off Glenwald Road. You would like the main access off of Old Glenwald?
no, the opposite.
No, opposite.
So keep it where it is?
Correct.
No,
Right.
the entrance now would probably be moved a little to the left, no? So a tractor trailer can get in there?
No, so
That's a technical traffic, but.
we want the
yes,
traffic to come off of Glenwald Road.
It's wide enough.
Not
It's
Old
wide enough where it shouldn't
Glenwald
be an issue.
Road.
The main traffic.
The main traffic, if there has to be
Going
an
off Glenwald.
emergency exit that could have very limited use,
Right,
Old Glenwald Road is
I
fine.
mean here. Right, I would
Yeah.
think the planning board and emergency services would want a secondary access.
Right.
But the main access is here now. If you're saying to move it over a little.
No, I don't, I'm asking.
He's saying that he would only want it moved over if it
makes
needed to be
sense.
to accommodate the traffic that's gonna be coming in. If
I-
it works,
I would say, as a country lawyer, there's enough space here
Site
with
distance, yeah.
sight distance that the entrance could be located so that it's safe and the tractor trailers could come in. And then off of Old Glenwald Road would be a secondary access for emergencies, I would think.
but it would have to be,
A gated.
it would have to be something that doesn't
Whatever-
become the main
Whatever
entrance.
the town wants,
Okay.
it's not.
Because the other
only
warehouse
issue
that's
with
gonna be
gates is
neighboring,
that then you need a
is gonna be off
code,
of
we have to
Glenwald
set up a
Road.
code to get in and out.
Right.
Which is not a problem,
Yeah.
but yeah, if everything comes off of here now, and I don't see why it wouldn't, and if it needs to be moved one way or another, I would leave that up to the technical people to figure out.
so I spoke to our
these
engineer when this first came up about, and he was much more comfortable with it staying on Glenwald Road. And the other project that's happening, that they're starting construction now, is also accessing
Off of,
off of Glenwald
and
Road.
that makes sense to me also, and that's the way we'll keep it.
I mean, there's been trucks going in and out of that
I would
entrance
be
for
surprised
50
if the
years.
planning board didn't wanna have another access point, but maybe they don't, maybe they don't.
There is an existing side road now that was always used, infrequently as an alternate.
This is an easy ask that we'll deal with the planning board. We could make the representation on the record now that whatever the technical consultants come up with for the town and the applicant, that's where the entrance will be. If the planning board wants to have an emergency services, those groups want to have something here, that's up to them. The only thing I just would add, so everyone's clear,
Yeah.
this red dotted line, you have the map, this used to be industrial.
Yes,
We don't know why it was changed.
right.
Obviously, it was changed to ag. Obviously, Butch has an industrial operation there
Correct.
now.
Yeah.
The reason we're moving it slightly past, pursuant, this board wanted the back end to stay agricultural, which we're keeping, but for site plan purposes, the SWIP and just site plan design with the planning board, we just need a little more room, that's why. And the planning board, when we were in front of them, they recommended that the change would be at this line.
Perfect.
A little bit past, and again, it's an easy ask, Arnold, if the board doesn't want to have a secondary access, because it's a big enough area off the main road, that's
The-
fine with
the
us.
only-
It needs a secondary.
Yeah.
It needs a secondary.
The only
Why is
concern,
it needed?
It's a fire, it's
You
fire.
mean, so the fire department,
It's
they're
fire,
gonna want
yeah,
that,
yeah.
okay.
as long as there's a gate of some
Yeah.
sort and it doesn't become the main entrance, that was there were two concerns that residents near that area had that they expressed to me. One was the entrance, and two was to have as much of a buffer to the two houses that are on Old Glenwald Road as possible.
Which will deal also with the planning board, but yes, we could make the representation, the main access will be off Glenrock Road as it is now.
Perfect.
I just, quick question, just because I was the one dealing with the site plan.
Yeah.
That would be all traffic, just not truck traffic,
With worker traffic.
because there's gonna be, employee access and that type
Yeah,
of thing.
Glenwell Road.
Okay,
Yeah.
so everybody will
Uh,
drive, everybody will drive.
I mean,
The
it's
main
been-
road,
Park.
Yeah.
the main road, not the country road.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
It's just right, it's very close to the two houses,
No, no,
and,
I got you.
and that's been,
Yeah.
through
It's a,
different,
it's a point of mitigation.
Right.
It would be a point of mitigation, which we have no problem.
and there's been different businesses there now, Butch and before that, the egg farm. They had customers, they would sell eggs, all of their customers would come in off of Glenwald Road as well as the tractor trailers delivering feed or whatever and picking up eggs. So there shouldn't be any issue with that. It's
I
quite
agree, we agree,
Yeah,
we agree.
perfect.
That's an easy one.
All right, anybody
Which
online?
the county's gonna be involved again anyway, because once you do what they call a curb cut, which is a driveway,
Right,
the county's gonna wanna know about it, and they have to go through the county to, if they need a, pipe underneath the driveway or anything like that, because it's a county road.
right.
It's-
So they're gonna be
It's,
involved.
it's existing there now. It's as wide, long as
It's
this
almost the
room.
whole, right.
Yeah,
It's very wide there now. I don't see a reason to, we'll keep it the same way.
Perfect.
And if the town engineer or the planning board wants an alteration of some way, shape, or form, landscaping plan, we have to go through all that stuff. If we need to screen by some of those houses, it's all not a problem.
Okay, perfect.
Anything else?
Anybody online?
I just want to point out, the county's 239 review, did mention it was local determination, however, the only negative part that they mentioned was the impact of traffic on Glen Wild Road, going all the way to Rock Hill. I drive down Glen Wild, I get stuck behind those tractor trailers all the time. It does create a bit of a traffic issue trying to get around those tractor trailers.
I'm almost positive the planning board's gonna require a traffic study.
Right.
I'm almost positive.
Yeah, and the 239 mentions that as well, that basically anything going forward over there in that area is gonna require additional planning board.
we had brought that up at the last planning board meeting, because when you turn onto Church Road there, with the four corners, there's a mobile home park going in there. And, Ken's guy Hayden had brought it up because there's, from Thursday to
Is it
Friday.
diagonal from the well drilling?
Yeah, across the street from him, right down there, the first lot on there. And, so when you come up out of there, the traffic, going to Rock Hill, he suggested doing a traffic study all the way out to, the end of, Rock Hill Drive there,
For this-
right across from
For this
Dutchess.
one or for the mobile home?
For the mobile home park.
Right, but we'll
But
have
now
access
you're
to
adding
that.
this and Newburgh Egg,
Right.
with
We'll-
all the traffic that comes through there, it's a very heavily traffic
We'll
road.
have access to all that, so
Yeah.
I agree, there's no doubt the planning board's gonna want a traffic study. And, as the property across Glenwell Road is now getting developed,
Mhm.
this is a logical area, I think, for the town to have commercial development and the commercial tax revenue. There is some residential there, but it's minimal.
Right.
And like I said, we'll have to do a traffic study, I'm sure we have to do a landscaping plan, whatever screening's needed relative to lighting, all of that, it'll be, I'm sure, downward facing, and there'll be hours of operation, so.
And just so the public knows, the owner of this project lives on that road as well.
Yes.
So, certainly he's gonna be, he's involved with what's going on there, so.
So you're not too concerned about the location of the access, just that it's on Glen Wild? I
Yeah.
just wanna make sure that our truck traffic doesn't interfere with the existing building, so.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
not saying we can't use it.
I just think it's
Just in
important to
case.
have, Glenwald Road's a busy road, as we all know, and Old Glenwald Road is not, so we don't want all of that trouble. All right?
Good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll go back to Is, oh, no, yeah, good point.
Second?
Who's the first?
Arnold first, Mike second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, back to the due process hearing.
Okay. I'll go ahead and read before we open.
Okay.
No, open, sorry, open and then.
Okay, Davos Point Condominium Association, SBL 57-1-13.21, due process hearing.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. This is addressed to Davos Point Condominium Association, P.O. Box 608, Woodridge, New York 12789, SBL 57-1-13.21. The letter was dated July 16, 2026. Notice of complaint and hearing property maintenance violations pursuant to Town Code, Chapter 218. Dear owner operator, the town of Fallsburg, known as the town, recently received complaints regarding conditions associated with your property maintenance within the town. Pursuant to Chapter 218 of the Town Code, the property maintenance and the town's authority under Municipal Home Rule Law, Section 10, the town has conducted a preliminary review of the complaints. On or about March 17, 2026, the town previously provided notice of the complaints received and advised of the potential consequences of noncompliance. The town has since received additional complaints. The town has conducted a preliminary review of the additional complaints and identified areas of concern. Based upon the information received, it is alleged that conditions associated with your property may constitute violations of Chapter 218 of the Town Code. Chapter 218 of the Town Code, Property Maintenance, authorizes the town board, after notice and opportunity for a hearing, to order the correction or abatement of conditions that violate the chapter. If a property owner fails to comply with such an order, the town board may authorize the enforcement officer to take the necessary steps to correct or abate the condition, including entry onto the property if necessary. The cost incurred by the town in correcting or abating the condition, including reasonable attorney's fees, engineering or consultant fees, employee salaries, and administrative costs, may be charged to the property owner. If unpaid, such costs may be assessed against the property and collected in the same manner as town real property taxes. The town's preliminary review identified conditions on Davos Road, including potholes and roadway deterioration, that constitute a violation of Chapter 218 of the Town Code. The roadway has not been maintained in a manner that protects the health, safety, and welfare of the public, and corrective action is required to remedy the condition. The town board has scheduled a public hearing to consider the above referenced complaints and potential violations of the following time and place. And it's dated today, 7/22/26 at 6 p.m., located 19 Railroad Plaza, South Fallsburg, New York. Nothing herein shall be deemed a waiver of any rights or remedies available to the town under applicable law. And it's signed by Nathan Steingart, the supervisor. So, I think I have to know if somebody is here representing them. Is there anybody here for this? Okay, so we can go ahead.
Do you have pictures of that?
Do I, no, I didn't.
So I've been there personally and seen it. The road is in awful shape. It's been in awful shape for years. There is some kind of a game between the homeowners association and the owner. The road is so bad that the residents at the point have started driving on the grass to avoid the section of road, and then the owner put boulders on that section of the grass, so then they couldn't do that. Our highway department has gone up there, and we have gotten nowhere with either party. So we're not gonna repave the road, we're just gonna basically go and fill in the potholes and patch.
So is this an HOA, or is this like a single owner that owns multiple units that?
So how it's set up is Davos owns all of the property around there, and the condo part that's in the back, the condos, They were part of the ski hill back in the day when they were, you know, they were built for people to come down and stay for the weekend, ski at the ski hill, which was called Big Vanilla at the time. And so now that you have the condo association that's separate from the Davos part of all of the rest of the property. But when you go in there, Davos owns the road, but the Davos Point, the condos, have a right-of-way ingress and egress to use it, to go across their property, to get to, obviously, their condos. I've been on the phone with both parties since like April, going back and forth, and nobody wants to take claim to it. So finally, I had gotten a lot of phone calls, you know, from the people that live in there and stuff like that. And I asked the two town attorneys to look over the agreement and ask who was responsible for the maintenance on the road. And I also spoke to the head guy of the HOA, which is Brandon Reaver, and I said to him, well, who plows the road? Who takes care of it during the winter? And he said, well, we do. And I said, so you're maintaining the road? He said, but we don't own the road. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. You're in the agreement, it says that you're responsible for the maintenance of the road. So it was just a going back and forth thing, and I just said that, you know, eventually that, you know, I'm gonna turn this over to a town board matter, and then we're gonna do what we have to do.
Do the residents pay any kind of like HOA fees, or is it simply
I think they do, yeah. And I also spoke to another woman, Nora, I forget her last name, and she's from Long Island, but she takes care of the day-to-day operations of like the HOA, because Brandon, you know, runs his business and stuff like that. So I had spoken with her, and I brought her up to speed with everything on it and stuff. And she was like, okay, she's like, I'm gonna talk to Brandon about it. And
so are they like a management company for the HOA, or are they the owners?
Brandon and his brother predominantly own, I think, a good portion of the condos. They've gone up for sale over the years, and they've bought them. So he is the head of the HOA there. And I don't know who the other board members are beside this lady Nora that I've been speaking with. And she's in agreement with me, because she had said that, you know, we have to do something with it, you know.
Yeah.
He doesn't own the road though.
Huh?
Well,
So
it's
what,
a private right.
what we basically gonna do,
Davos owns the road, right?
The right-of-way trumps the ownership of the road, just because you own it's called fee simple, the actual ownership under the road. Those rights are subservient to the people that are using it, and, you know, they can work it out however they want. There's gonna be a fight if the lien attaches to homeowners association, then it's gonna be the homeowners association that pays. If the lien attaches to the road, then they're gonna be fighting with the people that say they don't have anything to do with the road, because they have all the rights in the road. So that's not the town's battle. They can battle that out themselves. But what is the town's battle is there's a health, safety, and welfare problem, and there's a violations have been issued attached to the notice that Paula read, or this is March, was a violation, and later was a violation. There's been no actions by anybody to remedy the violation, and you have 30-some-odd units there where people are living there with a ordinance and massive.
So we're gonna go in and fix it.
Patch it.
So we're going
Patch it.
That'll be a demand.
And who are we gonna bill?
There'll be a demand. It's gonna be one or the other. It's something
Well,
Dylan's
which
saying.
one? That's my question.
We're gonna bill whoever, we may bill both. I don't know.
Whoever was noticed.
It was whoever was noticed is getting billed, so it's the Dallas Point, what's the name?
Condominium
Condominium.
Association.
So they're gonna have to come in and pay, and if they don't pay, it gets levied as taxes. So that'll.
and I don't expect it to be a large sum of money, we're just filling in potholes.
And that, in the sort of equitable scheme of things, the people that are using the road are gonna pay for the repair for the road. It's not such a bad outcome in the scheme of things. It would be better if they would all get together and figure out how to do it, because they have to live there, but this is what's going on, with no one taking responsibility for it.
It's a disaster. I've never seen a
Well, we
road
should
in
do it
worse
right.
condition.
If we do,
What?
we should do it right if we're gonna do it.
So I had that discussion with Anthony from our highway department too. To go in there and do it right would require ditching, and the road is so bad that that would be a major expensive undertaking. So I just thought, let's get it safe and go from there. It's
And make
not,
it travelable.
right,
you know,
it's
at
it's
this
beyond
point in
just
time.
putting a layer of blacktop
Yeah.
on there.
It's just basically filling in the potholes so you can at least drive through this section.
Last year, they
Yeah.
filled the potholes, I don't know who did it, if it was the homeowners association or the owner, with dirt. And within 2 weeks, it rained and it was back to exactly the way it was. So. All right, can I get a motion to, anybody from the public?
Actually, we don't do public comment.
Oh,
because-
okay.
Motion opposed?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, next up, we have the supervisor's report. So we're halfway through the summer. It has been a difficult summer, mostly with our water issues. We had another water main break today in Hurleyville. I actually went out to see it at 5 a.m. and the crew is still working on it now from 5 a.m. this morning. I'm committed to start a water main replacement this fall, and I expect it to go out to bid. We're gonna have a discussion on our board in the next few weeks. But we're in a point now that we can't wait for grant money at this point. We have broken down the project into different phases instead of doing one large project. So we will start with phase one. We have a lot of grant applications out there, and I'm told that we're getting to the final stages and that money will be applied to phase two if we don't get it by the time we start. But at this point, you know, we can't go on with what we have. You had asked about the water boil alert. The way that originated, and we talked about it last week, we have a member of the health department that is a resident of the town. He took it upon himself to take a reading of the pressure at his house. So the way it works is if the pressure in the town water system falls below 20 PSI, they put a demand that you issue a boil water alert. And the reason why is if the pressure is low enough, it has the potential for the water in your home to leach back into the system because there's not the pressure pushing against it. And in that case, even though the water is chlorinated, there is the potential for bacteria or whatever to get into the water. So when this happened, first of all, our own water department did not necessarily agree with the readings. They wanted a larger area to be under the boil water alert. We went back and forth. It was we narrowed down the scope of what was under that alert. We have been testing, and we did multiple tests during that period. Thank God all of the tests came back that the water was safe to drink, but again, err on the side of caution, which Arnold likes that, we are keeping the alert out there. This last week and a half has been a Jewish holiday where the water usage is typically much lower. Tonight starts another holiday, which is a fast holiday, where the water usage is lower, and then by tomorrow night, the usage will go up. I'm happy to announce that the main tank that we have had issues with in the past, which is on the Vista, last week, we're struggling at 4 feet of water, 6 feet of water. We're up to almost 20 feet of water. The whole tank, the top capacity is 38 feet, so we're more than half full. And our water department is fairly optimistic that we're in good shape to even under the period of high usage. So that really is the supervisor's report. The only additional comment I want to make on another issue is we had somebody reach out via email to me with some concerns about a building project on Church Road, about the fact that they were concerned that the project was not compliant for being handicap accessible. That happens to be a building department issue. From my understanding, they are compliant, and I don't know if TJ wants to speak on it at all, but they are compliant. The way it works is the entire project doesn't have to fall under compliance, but as long as enough of it is compliant that people that have disabilities can use restrooms and have safety if there's a fire, it passes and it is at that point. So I just wanted to address that, and that's really it for my supervisor's report. Up next, we have citizens' comments.
I don't have anybody on the list here. Is anybody online?
Yep, Stan Wagner.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's a little bit. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Some of
evening.
you may have read the Fallsburg Future article on this matter. So using some of that info, I'd like to talk about 300 La Vista Drive, and specifically how what's happening there was allowed to happen at all. That property started out as an 8-bedroom, single-family home. It's now being rented out as the Palatial, 17 bedrooms, 19 bathrooms, advertised for weddings, parties, large group events. Someone more than doubled the size of that house. There was no new building permit for that work. There was no updated certificate of occupancy. The original single-family permit is apparently still the only one on file, and the property isn't owned by a resident. It's held by an LLC that was incorporated in January of this year. Under our own zoning code, a bed and breakfast maxes out at 8 guest rooms, 15 guests a night, and the owner has to live there. This property doesn't come close to qualifying, and no one ever applied for a special use permit. It also doesn't have a short-term rental permit. No pre-rental inspection was done. There's no proof of insurance on file, and the neighbors within 300 feet were never notified as the law requires. At 17 bedrooms rented commercially by the night, this isn't a short-term rental. It's a lodging house, maybe a hotel. Either way, it needed planning board review before that extension was built. It didn't get it. I'd like this board to get some answers. Who approved the work that turned an 8-bedroom house into a 17-bedroom commercial rental? Is there a permit for it? Does the certificate of occupancy reflect what's actually there? Or does it still describe the original home? And was the septic system ever re-engineered to handle 19 bathrooms? Or is it still sized for a single family? A house doesn't double in size without permits passing through this town's building department. That happened here, and it looks like it did, and either someone missed it or someone let it go. That's not a paperwork problem. That's a breakdown and oversight. And I think it's a fair question to ask whether this is the only property in town where something like this has occurred. I'm asking the board to order an inspection of 300 La Vista Drive, find out whether there's a valid permit and CO for what's actually operating there, and shut it down if there isn't. I'd also like to know how a conversion this significant got through the building department without any of the required approvals. Does it now fall upon the town's residents to catch these failures and bring it to the board's attention? Thank you.
Thank you.
What do you want from him?
I just wanted to ask if you wanted to address that.
It needs to be inspected by the building department.
Yeah. So we are aware of it. I will answer this. We are aware of it. It's a large town. It's very difficult to police every building, and sometimes things do slip through the cracks. We are aware of it, and we are going to look into what happened there. And give us some time, and I'll report back what's going on. But, you know, I saw the ad, I saw the article, I looked at the listing, and it was shocking to say the least. So the town is not going to let it go. We are going to look into it, and we will report back what we find.
Stan gave you a thumbs up.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
No.
All right, so next we have our department head update, and we have DJ Rowley from the building department.
So, as you said, we're in the full swing of summer, and since July, we've done January till July, I'm sorry. We've issued 241 building permits, replied to complaints, and did complaints at 391. Inspections that are multifamily, assembly, and operating, which are 156. And then municipal searches, we've done 173. So we are in the full swing of summer, seasonal operating permits, inspection and camp and assembly inspections occupied a large portion of the spring and early summer, which they always do. Daily building inspections, field complaints, and my part-time guy has been doing quite a bit on grass violations, and we have 2 companies out there mowing now. And we also assist with the water department on pools with fill violations and water violations that we've been doing. So it's been a very busy summer so far.
Yeah. And, you know, to speak back to, go back to, you know, what Stan was talking about, unfortunately, we're also short people in the building department, and it's overwhelming with the size of our staff to try to manage a town this size, and we're in the process. We had an interview today, and we have several other interviews, and we're gonna wind up hiring 2, possibly 3 more staff members and inspectors, so we could be more on top of these type of issues. So, thank you, TJ. All right, on to our agenda. Item 1, motion to approve town board minutes dated 7/15/26.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Jingle balls.
Item 2, motion to approve warrant 0726 dated 7/10/26 in the amount of $779,598.43.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Item 3, motion to approve warrant 07826 dated 7/13/26 in the amount of $279,491.05.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Item 4, motion to set comply date of Sunday, 7/26/26 for the repair of driveway, roadway at Davos Point Condominium Association, SBL 57-1-13.21. If not completed by property owner, the town board authorizes the town of Fallsburg DPW to make all the necessary repairs and invoice the property owner accordingly for the benefit of health, safety, and welfare.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Item 5, motion to approve a pay rate increase for the following lifeguards: Sophie Atlas, $21.25 an hour; Lily Fairman, $22.25 an hour; Morris German, $21.25 an hour; Addison Ingber, $20.25 an hour; Richard Kuroshenko, $20.25 an hour; Alexander Dupuy McBride, $21.75 an hour; Caitlin Peterson, $21.75 an hour; Aiden Siegel, $20.75 an hour; Lucas Zelaya, $21 an hour, effective 7/13/26.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6, motion to approve employment of Keith Bratt Jr. as a seasonal laborer in the golf department with a pay rate of $16 an hour, effective 7/23/26.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 7, motion to correct Scrivener's error in local law 4 of 2026, adopt and ratify, and resubmit to New York State, Sullivan County, and E-Code 360.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 8 is resolution number 56 of 2026, adopting law local number 5 of 2026 to change the zone designation for the town of Fallsburg, SBL 63-1-4, and a portion of 62-1-20.1.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
I vote no.
We have
Okay,
1 no and 4 yeses. So that is it for our agenda. I do have some executive session matters dealing with employment that I'd like to discuss. It should be short. I don't expect to come back for any business.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
See, every now and then you get a win, Jason.
Once in a while.
Once in a while.
Once in a while.
You didn't get taken, lady, talking during the meeting. How are you, my